Hi, I'd like to welcome you to Wild Wednesdays Live. My name is Beth Watts, and I'll be your host this week. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you ever miss an episode, you can go to the Quilt Craft Sew Mall and our YouTube channel, and it will all be archived there. If during the program you have any questions for any of our guests, just type them into the comments, and we'll make sure they get answered after the show. We have a great lineup for you today. We've got Raylene from Quilters Haven, John from Guidelines for Quilting, Sue from Sue's Sparklers, who doesn't need some glitzy stuff in their lives, and Linda from Winter Designs. All right, Raylene, are you ready to take it away? Almost. Hey, Raylene, are you ready to go? Oops, is your mic muted? Is your mic muted? All right, so for those of you that are following us, we're just in the beginning stages of figuring this out. We are going to see about getting Raylene's mic unmuted. All right, somebody technical on Raylene's end is going to unmute her mic any second now. So for those of you that are new to joining us, we are not real super tech savvy. We are kind of just jumping in with our feet first, trying to join the technical stages of what COVID has kind of forced us into. If you know us from live shows, that's kind of what we thrive at and what we're good at is in person and real life. And what we're hoping is that this is just going to kind of keep us in contact with you, inspiring you to make things and do things. Your mic's still muted, Raylene.
How about now?
Now you're good.
Yeah, you know what? The perils of living out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. All right, so what do you have to show us today?
All right, guys. Hi, it's Raylene Salazar here from Quilters Haven and Justnotions. And today I'm going to show you some of my favorite notions. And what I always like to share with people is that, you know, you can spend so much money doing your quilting, but you don't have to, because some of the best tools on the market are also some of the least expensive. So I'm going to be sharing some of that with you. Now, I've got a pile of stuff on my table here, and I'm just going to keep going and get through as much of it as I can in my time slot today. Now, all these items are on our website, so you'll be able to view them closer after the show today if you'd like. So, first thing we're going to talk about is marking tools. You know, one of the very best things out there to mark fabric is simply a sharp number 2 pencil. But the problem we have, well, how do we get it sharp enough? Because when you're using a standard pencil sharpener, when it's sharp, the lead is long and thin. So when we put a little extra pressure on our fabric, it tends to break off. Everybody needs one of these guys right here. This is a German steel magnesium blade sharpener. And instead of that long, thin lead, it's a little more blunt, so it doesn't break off as easy. It also only takes a couple of twists to sharpen your pencil. So instead of everything going in the trash, you actually get to use your pencil. And, you know, pencil, again, marks really well, especially on the back of your fabric. I don't know how well you might be able to see that line on this dark fabric. But another great thing about these, it's the only thing I use for makeup eyebrow pencils. You'll get so much more use out of them. These are $2.99. Now, another oldie but goodie that I absolutely love is called the Chalkaliner. Now, Chalkaliner comes in 4 different colors. But the rule of thumb, first of all, if you're only going to get one, you want to get the blue, because it is the most versatile to your light and dark fabrics. If you're going to get a second one, I highly recommend the white. If you have those two, you really don't need any other colors. However, they do also come in yellow and pink. What I love about Chalkaliner, and by the way, those are currently $7.35, is you take the lid off and there's a little wheel that dispenses, and I'm going to turn this fabric over so it's on the darker side so you can see the line better, but it's just dispensing a very fine line of loose powdered chalk. That little wheel is kind of pushing it in the fiber of your fabric. So even if you do brush over it, it's not going to disappear just from your hand rubbing on it. Now, this type of a marker is not for marking your whole quilt. because it will be gone before you're ready. But if you're marking small areas, they are refillable as well, so they're very economical. I can tell you, for most people, you're not refilling these except maybe once a year. Now, another great marking tool that I love, and it's actually my all-time favorite, is the Bowen mechanical chalk pencil. This is a non-oil-based ceramic chalk, and to remove the line, you simply erase it out with the fabric eraser on the end of the pencil. The best thing about this guy is it's a 0.09 lead. It is the finest line out there for marking on your fabric. And again, it just erases out, or it will brush out with a soft brush, or it washes out easily, again, because it is a non-oil base. Now, these cost a little bit more money, but they are going to last you forever. It's $12.70. It comes with an additional 5 leads. Now, the leads that come inside it are white, but if you simply purchase a pack of green refills to go with it, you've got all your light and dark fabrics covered. Now, again, they do have other colors that we carry. They have a pink, they have a yellow, but I've been using these for about 9 years, and there's only been 1 or 2 times that one of these 2 colors weren't the perfect choice. And then the last marking tool that we're going to talk about real quick are the Frixion pins. And the Frixion pins are a 0.7 lead, so a little bit larger lead than that Bowen. But what makes these so awesome is it's a nice fine line, and hopefully you can see that on the back of here. But to remove it, you're simply going to go right on top of it with your warm iron, and the line disappears. Now, unfortunately, these markers only work for your lighter color fabrics. The technology that makes the special gel ink, they aren't able to do like a white or a yellow. But for your light color fabrics, they're great. We sell them individually. I believe they're $2.79 each, or we do have a pack of 8 different colors for $23.89. Okay, so moving on from our marking tools, you know, one of the best things that was ever invented is called the purple thing. I cannot live without this. This is the silliest, stupidest tool ever invented, but I reach for it every day about 100 times. Now, some of the advantages to our purple thing is, first of all, one end is curved. So anytime you're turning something with a curve, that will get right inside and push that curved seam out wonderfully. The other end is a 1/4 inch. So anytime you're spot checking your seam allowances, it also has a slit in it, so you can use it like a bodkin. So if you're running ribbon or elastic or a drawstring through a casing. I also love it at the sewing machine because when you're, getting that last little bit, and if you're not careful, it kind of trails off to one way or the other, you can use that curved edge and guide right that last bit right under your needle. It's also perfect for pulling up your bobbin thread. $3.79. And I'm going to tell you, I have even sewn through mine and not broken. They just last forever. Now, a lot of times people ask me, what's the best pins to buy? Because we all know, if you've been to a show, you've been in Joann's or any of those stores like that, even Hobby Lobbies, you've been online searching, there are a jillion different brands of straight pins. My favorite, and they have been for many, many years, are Annie's Choice. Now, you might originally remember these were made by IBC. They are still the exact same pins, but they've repackaged them under their name, Annie's Choice. I absolutely love their flat flower head pins. If you have arthritis and you're having a bad day, that flower gives you so much more to grip to guide your pin in and out. Also, if you're sewing on the sewing machine and you come to those pins, you don't have to take them out because it's flat. Your needle will just keep right on going. So I love the flat pins. My other favorite pin are the glass head silk pins. Now, what is wonderful about these is not only are they super sharp, super fine, but so many of our quilting pins are just a little bit too long. They tend to be about 1 7/8 inches. These are only 1 3/8 inches, which for most of your projects is plenty long without them getting in the way. So both of those are available on our website, and let me double check. Yes, they're both $7.49 a package. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest reasons that I love Annie's Choice pins is because I never have a pin that has a snag or a burr on it. They're always very smoothly finished. And speaking of pins, ever drop one on the floor? Can't find it? I love my little magnetic pin wand. because it'll pick it up off the floor, off the carpet. If you drop it on your lap, maybe you're hand sewing with your needle, these are $1.99. And they will pick up an entire box of dropped pins off the floor or the carpet. Okay, next thing we're going to look at are the Quilters Delight pin covers and the quick clip. Now, you may have seen these and never really known exactly what that was for. Well, the pin covers, what you do is you snap them on your #1 pins. So they will work on the
Uh-oh, Raylene, we lost volume.
technical difficulty.
Oh, here you're back. Oh, maybe now we've lost you. The camera's gone black. All right, so just bear with us. As I said, we are not professional camera people. We're just quilters and vendors doing the best we've got.
Okay, here we're back. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
So when you're pin basting, you know that after a while, your fingers get really sore and get really tired. But when you have the pin cover on your pin, it gives you something more firm to grip onto. And when you use it in conjunction with the quick clip, okay, look how I can use that quick clip and slide that pin through. And then I use the clip to actually close the pin instead of trying to get my 4 fingers down inside of there. Once you put your covers on your pins, then they're on there permanently. So it only takes a few minutes. One time you use a needle nose plier to snap them on. They come 200 in the package for $12.99. And then the quick clip tool are $8.99. Again, those are on our website. Another favorite item that's been out for a few years that I absolutely love are the sharp sewer clips. Now, we originally fell in love with these clips for doing our binding. So instead of having to pin your binding before you sew it, you could just clip it. It's more accurate, it's faster, and easier on your fingers. So the quick clips, again, you're just going to snap them on. Now, once you start using your clips, you're going to notice that you're going to find a million other places that you can clip instead of pin. And they also make what we call the jumbo size. So, you know, if you're doing something really thick with high loft batting that you need to clip together, these will get around that better. Now, we have a really great deal on our website, and it's our combo pack. In this package, you're going to get 30 of the small clips, 10 of the large for $19.99. So you have more than enough of either size that you might need. Okay, I see that I'm getting close to the end of my time here with all of our little difficulties, but a couple of things I just want to talk about really fast. First of all, we are also a manufacturer of rulers and squares. We have our square ups available from 2.5 inch up to 13.5 inch. They are made of the green fluorescent material, and the advantage to the fluorescent rulers is a clear ruler will tend to cast a shadow on the edge as you're marking or cutting. And it's hard, will be hard to see on camera, but in your sewing room or in your workspace, it's going to pick up the natural light in the room, and then it will actually light up your edge. So when you're marking or cutting, you're much more accurate. Now, all of our tools are laser etched, meaning those lines are not screen printed, so they will never rub off. They're engraved right into the acrylic. And we can also, for a very small fee, we can actually customize them and engrave your name right on your tools, so no more mixed up tools at class. So again, we have squares, we have rulers, we have triangles. And then the last thing real quick that I want to show you is a fairly new product for us. These are called Resize It. These little squares are great when you're squaring up your smaller blocks. They have a gripper on the bottom. They have a nice handle on top. So when you're going to use your rotary cutter to square up your block, so say for instance, I've got this block right here. There are lines right on my Resize It. So I can just line those up on my seam lines, and then I can trim it easily. Now, when I'm doing that too, I like to use my turntable mat, because I just do one side, spin it around, do one side, spin it around. These mats are awesome, and they come from one of last week's guests, the Big Mat Rotary Surface Company. So the Resize It come in 3 sizes in the box for $24.99. Can you see that, Ron? Okay. So that's what I had to share with you today. And again, I apologize for our technical difficulties. Sometimes living in the country, that's what kind of happens out here. But we've had a good time sharing these items with you. Again, everything that you see here is going to be on our website. And if you follow the link on your screen, there's a special discount if you order by tomorrow night at midnight. So thanks, everybody. And thanks, Beth, for having me on.
Oh, thank you, Raylene. That was awesome. Even as a shop owner, I learned a lot of tips and tricks. So it's always fun to interview different vendors.
Great.
Be sure and join, like Raylene said, be sure and join or follow the link that's scrolling along the bottom, the Quilt Craft Sew Mall. And right on the homepage, there's going to be an easy way to get into all of the vendors that we're showing for a 20% off on what they're demoing until midnight tomorrow. Thank you, Raylene. And coming up, we've got John from Guidelines for Quilting. Hi, John. Are you there? Maybe. Let's see. John, are you there? So this is all new to me. So if you're watching, this is the first time I've hosted, so I'm not really sure how this works. Here we come. Is John here?
Not yet. How about while we vamp for John? Because of the technical difficulties, I still had about 6 products that I hadn't shown because of
perfect.
time.
Perfect. Take it away.
I have a feeling he got confused with the time zone, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Well, we're back on then. So a couple of other items that I can share with you. Okay, first of all, a great little tool. You know, we always joke around and we say that you're not a quilter until you've cut off one of your digits with your rotary cutter. But, you know, we really don't want that to happen, right? So one of my favorite little guys is called the little gripper. The little gripper will work on your small rulers and squares and your largest all the way up to your 6x24 or your 16-inch squares. And what it does is when you get it, it's going to come in a box just like this. It's going to look like this. One side of the handle flips down. Then you're going to lay it on the smooth side of your ruler. Now remember, every ruler has a right and wrong side because on one side it's either been engraved or screen printed. So you need to be on the top on the smooth side. You're simply going to push that down, close the handle, and then you've got your suction cup on your ruler, but that will keep your fingers out of the way of your rotary blade. But it also gives you something to put more pressure on so that you can hold your ruler much more steady. So to remove it, you're just going to pop the handle down and pop it off again. Okay, so we're stretching for John here. So another really great product that I really love a lot is called Seam Fix. And this one's kind of, it's funny because when these first came out, I guess probably about 5 or 6 years ago, when I got the information on them, I said, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I didn't order them. However, one of my vendor friends asked me at a show if I was selling them yet, and I go, I just didn't see the use. And she's like, oh my gosh, I felt the same way. But she goes, you need to get them because they are really a cool tool. So what you're using your Seam Fix for? First of all, it's a seam ripper. Now I'm going to be the first one to tell you this is a crummy seam ripper. The first time I used my original one, it broke. But that is not why we love this tool. Because, you know, when you're carrying out your seams, you first have to take your seam ripper and you're going to break all your threads. But then after you do that, then you have to pick them all out. And that's why this is an amazing tool. It has this kind of layered rubber ball on the end. So once you broke the threads with your seam ripper, you simply roll this over all those loose threads and it pulls them out in a matter of seconds. The first time you use this, it's worth its weight in gold. So the Seam Fix right now are only available in purple, but I do have those in stock and I believe they're $7.49. I didn't mark that price on that one for some reason. Okay, another great little gadget that we have, again, back in the inexpensive tools to have in your kit, is our little needle inserter. This has a little gadget on the end that will hold your needle when you're changing it in your sewing machine instead of trying to get your fingers up in there. And that way you can just insert it quick and easy. It has a little cleaning brush on the end of it. These are $1.59. And it's one of those little tools, once you have it, you'll wonder how you lived without it. Okay, what else have we got here? One of my favorite iron cleaners is the Bowen iron cleaning stick. This will take off just about any gunk under the sun that you might have stuck on the bottom of your iron. I had some Wonder Under baked on my good iron that I tried everything to get it off. This was the product that finally cleaned it. This stick will clean your iron probably 5 or 6 times, just depending on how gunky it is. And all you do is you turn on your iron. You want it to be a dry iron. Don't turn on that steam. Let it heat all the way up as hot as it'll get on a cotton setting. Once it's heated up, you're going to take the stick out of the little tube, rub it on the bottom of your iron, and all the gunk melts right off. And again, these are $5.25. And like I said, you can clean your iron several times. Okay, just a couple more items, and then I think our next person is waiting in the queue. So let's just finish up real quick. My favorite of all time, seam rippers. Speaking of seam rippers, the surgical steel seam ripper. The reason I love this is because it's a little thin piece of metal, but the ripper is in this little hook. So even if you have to remove tight back stitching, this will take it out. Now, sometimes people tell me, you know, Raylene, I have a hard time holding on to that little thin piece of metal, but all you have to do is either tape it or glue it to a popsicle stick, and it gives you all the extra control that you need. $4.25. Remember I said some of the cheapest notions are some of the best. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to share with you, and then I think we have our next vendor in the queue, so we'll get her going, is one of my favorite little silly gifts, and these are great Christmas gifts with secret pal things coming up, etc. And it's the needle. And if you're like me and you have trouble threading a hand needle, this is the right tool for you. Because what it does is it's got a little button. When you push that button up, the wire to thread the needle comes out, but it also lights up so that you have a light right on the eye of your needle. And then when you're done, you just pull it back, the wire goes back inside to protect it, and the light turns off. And these are $4.29. So I think, Ron, do we have our next person ready? So I'm going to turn this back over to Beth. And again, guys, thanks for having patience with us. Well, we had a few problems today, but I'm glad that I got to share all these great items with you. So back to you, Beth.
Perfect. Thank you, Raylene, for being so flexible and for being able to jump right in. Next, we're going to welcome Sue Sparkler. But I want to remind you guys to please share this live and with all of your friends, because that is, you know, they're going to be mad if you're not sharing all the stuff, the good stuff that you're learning. All right, Sue, we'd like to welcome you.
Hi.
Hi.
You can hear me, right?
Yep, I can hear you. You're ready to go.
I live in the mountains. Raylene's in the desert. Was getting kind of worried that people wouldn't be able to hear me either, because I am totally not tech savvy. Okay, so I am Sue from Sue Sparklers. A lot of you out there will know us because we've been in business 25 years. And I had always heard about using freezer paper for stencils or appliques and that kind of method, but I had never used them before because I had always laser cut my own plastic stencils. But when I did this black sweatshirt last year, I used my plastic stencils, but they're rigid. The only way to get them to lay flat is to spray adhesive on the back of them. And then that's a whole extra step, and I'm not about extra steps and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, well, maybe I could, you know, since I'm laser cutting and I can laser cut paper, I could probably laser cut freezer paper. So I put some freezer paper on there, and be careful, because if you want to cut your own stencils from freezer paper, there are at least two kinds of freezer paper. One freezer paper doesn't have a very shiny backside to it, okay? And if you don't have a shiny backside on the freezer paper, you aren't going to be able to iron it on. You need to have that shiny facing, that shiny side on the back. So of course, when I moved to Montana, I didn't unpack everything right away because I was really getting bored with unpacking. So the freezer paper that I found was not the correct freezer paper. Just figures, doesn't it? So I live across the street from the VFW. So I went across the street just to see if my friend over there, if she had some or if the VF had some. Well, they had some freezer paper. And I took it home and I could see that they had a shiny side to the freezer paper. And I went, okay, this is the stuff that I used before. I cut a little sample of it. It worked. So I was on to the right thing. So I took one of her sheets and I cut the snowflakes out so that I could at least cut the snowflakes for this demo. Okay. You know, it's kind of hard to have a demo all hyped up and then you don't have the product for it. Okay. So now, because we are not tech savvy, my husband is going to help me. We're going to take this. Well, first I want to show you something else. Sorry, we did practice, but you know, I always put extra things in there. What I wanted to show you was, I don't know if this ever happens to you, lighting in your closet, not having good lighting, old sweatshirts, whatever. Sometimes they will fade. They will have a fade mark. Let me put this down just a little bit. They will have a fade mark, you know, where you folded them. I'm not sure if you can see this really well, but I think you can see that fade mark on there. You don't want to throw the sweatshirt out because it's still new. You haven't used it. But what are you going to do? You can't wash a fade mark out. So what I do is I spray paint over that area so the fade mark doesn't show. So what I did before we started today, I spray painted some really light snowflakes. Okay, so this is kind of a medium color blue sweatshirt. So when you spray paint navy blue on top of light blue, it's going to be very, very subtle. Okay. But the fade mark in the middle hardly shows, right? So if we keep our mouth shut and don't tell people that there was a fade mark on there that we camouflaged, no one's ever going to know. But, you know, we have a tendency to tell everything that we know. So if we just keep our mouth shut, nobody will ever know that. Okay, so now we're going to move the computer down and put it into position so that you guys can see what I'm doing on the floor. Okay, put that down, put that there. Okay, put that there, I'm hoping. And then we're tilting this down. Okay, so I'm really hoping this is working, Beth, that everybody can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I ironed on the larger snowflakes that I was working with. And the shiny side will tend to curl down, okay? If you iron it with the shiny side up, you're going to iron it to your iron, okay? So put all your little pieces into place wherever you want to. It doesn't make any difference. They'll just sit there until you're ready to iron them on. Kind of the same way as we do our iron-on designs. That one there, put that one there. In a package of that costs $5 for these freezer cut appliques, they cost $5 for a package of 25. So you're going to get a good amount to play with. Front, back, sleeves. You'll be able to cover everything. Let me put that one there. And I just have to remember where I have to go back and iron, right? Let's put one there. Let's put a little one right up there. Put a little one here. And yes, I do talk to myself when I do my projects too. So if you're one of those that talks to yourself, maybe talks yourself through a project, I don't know. I do that too. Let's see, let's put that one right there. Okay, so your iron's on a wool setting, dry iron. It's only going to take a couple seconds to iron down these snowflakes. Okay, just like that. We're just pressing them down really quick. It's a really fast. I do fast, easy projects. I don't think I have the attention span anymore to spend a lot of time in trying to figure out hard projects to do. Just not in my DNA anymore. Okay, so from there you can see that we have all the snowflakes ironed down. You can pick them up, just grab from a corner. And if you grab and want to pick up like 2 edges or something and then work from the middle, you can pick them up really easily if you don't get the right position that you like. Okay, I make my own spray paint. It is mostly water in a little spray bottle and acrylic paint. Doesn't matter what brand acrylic paint, it all works. I have YouTube videos listed on my website as to how to make paint. I didn't take the time to do making the spray paint in this project. I probably could have. We have extra time, but I didn't. And I always store my paint upside down. And the reason is sometimes the paint will separate from the water. And if the paint separates and it's at the bottom of the bottle, you can't get to it. So now if it separates, it would be around the top of the rim. You can just take like the bottom of a tweezer or something, push the paint back down into the bottle, shake it up, and it reabsorbs. So you don't keep making sludge at the bottom of the bottle. Okay, and the most important thing to do is probably to practice. We have a tendency to overspray. And overspray is just going to make everything look mushy and not near as pretty. So you do want to practice a little bit. that is really most helpful when you're doing a stencil that is inside a frame, and we put newspaper around the edges and weights and hold the paper down, and we spray the inside. These stencils, we are spraying inside and around them. So it's a little bit different process, but you still want to practice. Okay, so now we're going to spray paint. Let's take care. I use both thumbs. You can use whatever, method works for you. And we just spray, you can kind of spray with this method. You can kind of spray fairly heavy. I'm going to go back and do my sleeves in a little bit because I always like to do the whole shirt. So then it kind of looks like it's coordinated. Okay, so there, that was enough paint. It really isn't a lot of paint that you put on here. The neat thing about when you spray paint white on a colored sweatshirt, a dark colored sweatshirt, it looks like fleece. It ends up looking, when we choose our colors of paint, red is kind of our medium color. Red can be black spray paint or red can be white spray paint. But anything darker than red can only be white spray paint. It's the only paint that will be strong enough to show up on top of a dark color. Okay? So anything lighter than red, like that blue, if I'd have done white on that blue, it wouldn't have shown up. And you can see how faint it was when I did the blue on here. You can see how very faint that blue is on there, which I really like because it creates just a real subtle pattern. This is a really fun way for you to make your own fabric. I mean, you could line up, I'm going to be making butterflies and dragonflies, and I have ideas for leaves. You can also email me, call me, text me. Texting is probably easier. I have terrible cell service up here in the mountains. And just let me know if you'd like me to, cut out a whole bunch of different shapes or sizes. I can make one big snowflake. I mean, it's endless ideas of what you can do with this. Okay, so now that this is dried a little bit, the snowflakes will peel up easier if you allow them to dry, because now they're still a little bit damp, and it doesn't hurt however long you let them sit on here. But I want to show you, you just start at the end, just like that. And like I said, if you peel up two ends, and you can pick it up just like that. And if you're real careful, you can reuse these. Oh, don't we love that? I like projects where I don't have to throw away. And they're paper. They're just paper. But like I said, if you're really careful, when you take them off, you can reuse them again. And then just again, because this is white paint on top of a white snowflake, it might be a little bit harder to see which side is shiny. So do a little testing first, because you don't want to iron too many of them to your iron. They peel off the iron. They aren't going to hurt it at all or leave a residue or anything. But, nobody likes to do anything too many times the same. So I'm just going to peel up this big one. And I do think they would peel up easier if they were dry. They're a little damp right now with the paint on them. But you can see that they do peel up pretty easily so that you would be able to reuse them again, which I think is always better. I know it's only $5 and you're getting 25 of them, but why not be able to reuse them again? I'm going to show you this right here. And you could always do this in front of the TV at night. Do your project during the day and then do that at night. Oh my God, that is so pretty. I hope you can see this snowflake, how pretty this snowflake looks and how the white makes it look like fleece. Okay, I'm going to peel off a couple more up here because I'm going to show you how we use the iron-on designs. Sometimes, you think you've been in the business for so many years that everybody's seen you, been there, done that. And yet I still run into people that have not seen us. So I guess that's good. I mean, we need new people in the industry. And with this virus thing, we never know what's going to happen. Makes us all kind of crazy. Okay, so I would like to iron on a crystal sparkle snowflake onto this just to add texture and depth. You can always cut apart a ready-made design. We also have individual snowflakes on the website. It's like under a header, seasons, and then one of them's winter and one of them's snowflakes. This was a snowflake Christmas tree that I cut. One of this crystal designs off from when I did the blue sweatshirt. This is a crystal snowflake neckline. And like I said, you can buy all just smaller individual crystals designs also. It doesn't have to be. I just wanted to show you that some people sometimes think they can't cut the designs apart, but all you're doing is cutting through paper. It's not a big deal. So feel free to cut, change, rearrange, do anything you want. You could also make a smaller snowflake Christmas tree. It doesn't make any difference. That's what's cool. There's no right or wrong. That's what I always like. Okay. Take that out of the way. So on an iron-on design, you peel off the white backing. If you forget to peel off the white backing, you're going to make a wall hanging. And I'm sure you'd much rather wear this and make a wall hanging. The back of the front is sticky. That's what's holding all the pieces in place for the design. There's heat-activated glue on the back of each piece. So put the design on your shirt. Put it anywhere you want. Cut it up. Again, cut it apart, change it, pick it up, move it. Nothing is permanent until you iron it. So let's hold this one. And I actually have an extra little snowflake jobby in there that I just saw. Okay, let's put this somewhere. There on top of that white paper. Okay, so let's put this right there, just like that. Okay, now you want to iron onto a hard, flat surface. And since I'm working on a plastic table, and I have warped more plastic tables than I ever know what to do with, this is just a wooden cutting board that I'm going to iron onto. Okay, your iron is on a wool setting again, dry iron. Okay, we're always working with a wool setting on the iron. And the iron sits there for a minimum of 60 seconds. I know a lot of you that gets really nervous when I talk about the time frame, but on anything but white, it still is a minimum of 1 minute. But white, you always want to pay attention to because white is the easiest to scorch. I'm not even looking at my time frame, checking at this. And I'm also looking at my 15 minutes. And I see I have 1 minute left. But if I look at the other clock, I have 5 minutes left. So I'm probably going to take those extra 5 minutes. Okay, iron sits here for a minimum of a minute. On anything but white, the iron could sit here on a wool setting for 15 minutes. Ask me how I know. I have left and forgotten my iron many, many, many times. So don't worry about it, but if it's white, pay attention. So once the iron is sat here long enough, take the front half of your iron, press down in small sections at a time. That will make up for different size pieces, different heights of pieces that might be in your designs. You want to make sure that the little ones get ironed on as well as the big ones. It doesn't happen to be in this particular design, but it's still a good habit to get into. Now you wait for the plastic to cool. And if you pick it up and move it off the surface you ironed it, it's going to cool off faster because you've heated up that surface. And if you put your hand in between the front and the back, it's going to separate that, and that's going to cool off faster. I always tell people at the shows, you don't want to glue. Stop. My phone buzzer went off. I always tell people at the show, it's very hard to get into a garment if you've glued the front to the back. So another good habit is right away, just put your hand in between the front and the back. If you have a really thin garment where the glue has gone through to the back, just put your hand right in there and it'll separate it. And it also makes it cool off faster. I always laugh when I say that one, but it's happened, you know. So a lot of silk tops are very lightweight and very thin. Okay, so the plastic is cooled. When the plastic is cold, the glue is cold. That's as simple as it gets. Okay, now, knowing that everybody and their iron is different, how do you know it's securely bonded? You're going to throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer. You want to make sure it's on there. So you rub it back and forth, up and down. Do it harder. See if you feel any loose edges. Fingernails. Really, really check it. If you make this as a gift, you don't want them coming off when you give it as a gift. Now, as for the paint will dry in about 5 minutes, but it takes 24 hours for the paint to cure. Once the paint cures, you heat set it with a cotton setting on the iron. That will make it washer and dryer time after time after time. I mean, it's just a simple, amazing process that really works. Okay, I'm going to put the computer back up again so that you can see me. because then we'll say goodbye to Beth, and hopefully her next person will be in line, and we'll be all good. Hey, Beth, you still there?
I'm here. That was fabulous. I love that as an idea for Christmas gifts, especially this year. I think it's going to be even more important to give gifts that are handmade with meaning. Yes. And that is fabulous. Kind of a quick, easy project. And if they go to the quiltcraftsomall.com, which is scrolling on the bottom, it will take them right to your link where they can get 20% off of their, I'm not sure their purchase or what you demoed.
The purchase, any purchase that they make, they just have to put 20% off in the comments box at the end of the order, because I don't have a coupon thing on my website.
Perfect. So, but that's only good till midnight tomorrow night. So that you're going to want to jump on that right away.
Okay, thanks, Beth.
Thank you, Sue. It was fun to watch you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, I think that we are still waiting on John. So we're going to jump right into Linda Winter from Winter Design. She is one of my favorite demoers. She is so much fun. Hey, Linda, how are you? Oops, take off your mic. Your mic's muted you. Hey, Linda, can you hit your mic? What? Whoa. Okay, here, she's getting it. There we go. There we go. How are you? I think you're a little bit garbly.
Can you hear me at all?
Yep, I can hear you now. Yep. All right. So we did test all of these before, but you know how technology is. You just never know what to expect.
Having really bad. She's frozen up here. Okay. So let's see. Let me have the phone. Yeah, it's frozen. So, all right. So, okay. Well, now I can see me. Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you. It's a little bit of a garble.
I think we're going to have to reschedule with me doing this at the shop, because it was so garbled for everyone else. And I'm assuming that everybody else was fine, but it was just garbled on my end. Is that pretty true?
I think that might be true. Are you having problems with your internet today?
No, well, we've had a rainstorm. It just stopped raining, so that may have affected it. We are in my studio, so that may be an issue. What I'm gonna do is
where'd she go?
People a sneak peek, and then if we could
Wait, Linda, you're garbled and you're cutting in and out.
That would be wonderful. All right, I'm just doing a sneak of some of the things that I'll show.
Okay.
Another date, if we could reschedule.
Perfect.
These are some of the projects that I'm going to show how to make, and we'll reschedule. I am doing a giveaway. I am doing a 20% off. People can take advantage of that now, but these are the kinds of projects that I'll show. So hopefully you're able to hear at least that bit.
We totally heard that bit, but just in case, because the picture quality isn't that great, you can still go to Linda Winter's. You can go through the Quilt Crafts So Mall website, and you can click on Linda Winter Designs, and you can get the 20% off. And we will reschedule her to do her demo on a different day. Okay, what about John? Is John there? There you go. There, that's perfect, Linda. We can see that really clear. Oh, okay. So as you know, technology is kind of a blessing and a curse. So we just, we just kind of roll with whatever happens on the day that it's happening. So Linda's still there, showing us some of her goodies. And she will demo them on a different day. Oh, look there's the bowl with like a heavyweight Temtex. Perfect for candy. Oh, I love the elf. Oh, is the elf a purse or a placemat? Oh, only time. Oh, it opens up. It's a tote bag or something. Oh, all kinds of goodies there, Linda. So Linda is super fun. I've interviewed her before. She has a ton of ideas. Oh, look at Peggy just commented. She loves Linda. We all love Linda. Okay, so we are going to wrap this up. Next week, we are going to have Chalk Couture, Calico Cupboard, Global Marketplace, and Villa Rosa Designs. So we hope that you share with your friends and that you join us next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you have any questions, please just put them in the comments and we will answer them as they come in. Thanks a lot. Have a great Thanksgiving.